Seafood Jeffrey Johncox hanging out here. This old running joke around here about the Blackbooks. When I was in 6th grade, maybe 5th, we could play with the dates. I was like, I was gonna be a soldier of fortune. I got Soldier of Fortune magazine in the mail. I asked for that like as a Christmas present. I was getting gung ho and Soldier of Fortune. I was going to this Army surplus stores. You know where I would have been. No, I wouldn't have been, because I would have died in the first Gulf War. So you wouldn't have known me if I'd have followed that path. That was a stupid path. And in that, Paladin Press had this little page in Soldier of Fortune. And, I was a kid. I was like 12, 13, 14. And so I ordered my first black book. I don't know if you can see that cover. Secrets of the Ninja. Citadel Press. $6.95. Ashida Kim, it says here. Let's see, it's got a date inside. That's how I started doing martial arts. 1981. Third printing. I'm serious. Ashida Kim, no less. This dude, this bullshit. Oh man, that's the. So anyway, I got this book, man, and I'll get into what it is at some other time. But I was doing this stuff. I can remember doing it in the backyard, and I believed like this is so real, and somehow it came to me, Jeffrey Johncox. Then as I was doing it and kind of looking at it, I was kind of just like, you know what? That's kind of corny. That's almost unbelievable. And but the point here is I practiced it. I became diligent in my commitment to belief that I was doing secret ninjutsu. And do you think it really mattered? Oh, we got some pedestrians. I'll have to edit them out. I don't think it mattered. Do you think it mattered? So I get this book in the mail, and I was starting to get into paintball, and I'd be like camoed out down in the river bottom doing paintball, and I was paramilitaried out, and my dad laughed at me and told me I wasn't ever going to be tall enough, and I was going to work in the kitchen or something, and then go to college. And I remember that too, and I was like, "Fuck you, Dad! I'm going to be Special Forces." So anyway, I had this Secrets of the Ninja book. And I was prancing around with secret camouflage face and all this crap in this thing. And, but I got on this path of like, I got to find something better than that. Because, still thinking it might be real, right? I was a kid. And years later, right, it's proven a fraud. And, that was great learning for all of us in martial arts. So I start with the idea it's all fraud. It's all made up. It's all BS that we all make up. I'm a maker-upper, right? So like I got to get over that. I got to start with that as the first truth, right? I started with Ashida Kim in my backyard. I can see it now, man. I love thinking about that day. I'm trying to think. I can't quite see what I'm wearing when I picture it, but I made some kind of my own. It was out of sweatpants or something. All right, so that's Ashida Kim. What's the other black book, you ask? Well, you go looking for the Legend of the Four Wives Master. I started looking for Aikido for this different book, which had kind of a natural earth tone cover. And it was basically like about just like if you could stay so peaceful in your heart, right? You could create like a cloud of peace around you and like beget like, and that you will never even have to fight. How about that for nonviolence, right? Like if you could be so peaceful, you're invisible. So that's some Jedi stuff. But so Aikido, it was an Aikido book that turned out to be more like poems about the way without the way and all that stuff. So anyway, I had that book too. And so then I wanted Aikido. And I really liked the story, where he had a stick and he went all over Siberia or wherever that was, and then he got rid of the stick, and there's a whole story. I should do a video on that. So anyway, I got into Wing Chun and Chi Sao. And turned out to be more like the Aikido I wanted, right? Where it was just devastatingly brutal and would just crush someone like a stick. The harder they failed at being peaceful with you. But if they're being peaceful with you, and you're just doing a little more or less than them, that's nonviolence, right? But if they apply more, then you have to match with your internal spring. And you're like, I'm peace. And you got to blast them out of your, 20, 30 feet around you. All right, so get into Wing Chun. And I got a few videos on that. Very unique story for Humboldt County to have Long Ting actually have been there. And Sifu Elman Young in San Francisco had the thing. So... we're doing Wing Chun in this German Latzau. German Latzau, man, that was the stuff of the 90s. You had this Chi Sao, and you had all these moves, and you could look at one of these books, like Secrets of the Ninja, or whatever it was, Secrets of whoever knew Yip Man. They had a book. Or Secrets of whoever knew Jeet Kune Do, because they met Bruce Lee book. Like, you had these books, and you go, oh, look at that, bam, with a kick, and pow, right? It's the Secrets of the Ninja. Same stuff, right? How do you know it's going to be good? And this German Latzau comes around and blew all of us away. It's right when I started, 94. I was looking for Aikido. That didn't work out. I tried Shotokan, Tai Chi, like I was wrestling with friends and making up my own martial art. Oh my God, I lived in this house that had been this Asian civics professor's house. It had like a Japanese tea house in it, a redwood forest. And it's another story. I edited a lot of this out, probably. This Secrets of the Ninja book as a kid, and little black book. I treasured it all the way. I think I took this thing to college with me, I'll be honest. And I was starting to wonder about how goofy some of the stuff was in it, but it was kind of like a joke, like a tome of like, you don't really know what you start with, see what you can do with it, right? But I was diligent as a kid. And it led me to like try this one karate thing. I remember doing that. There's all kinds of book stories I got to tell first, right? So I used to go to the bookstores at the mall. We didn't have internet, kids. So I'd go there and I'd buy a magazine, and I'd buy some stuff, and the bookstore people knew who I was, because even though it was the mall, it was like, the owners were in there. But I would read these martial art books, and there was this Bill Wallace Superfoot Kicks. $14.95. I still remember. I read everything, and I'd go home and try to do these stretches. And then when the day I saved up, someone had already bought it. And I am blessed that I didn't ruin my groin with those stupid stretches and that crap 70s book. But I had this crap book. And then I'm doing Wing Chun. And then we got these Germans doing this, German Latzau. And, Sifu Emin was the program that I'm in up in Eureka, California in 1994. And Sihing Dennis, honorary Sifu by now. I'm just going to say Sifu Dennis Bonet. He was running the program up there. Was my first teacher. And Sifu Emin would teach it, and then he'd leave. And we'd crap it up for 6 months, and then he'd come back. And then the fog would ruin his flight, and we miss him for a year. Then we get him twice or an extra time, and then I go to LA. Like, it's hard to do this German Latzau if you're all the way in Northern California. But then, like, this Castle German comes, and my teacher actually moved to San Francisco to help this Castle teacher. And then this guy could do the German Latzau. We're like, whoa! That is, like, changing from... All of us were just like, that is some other thing. Let's see, what year would this have been? This was like 90, 98, 99, and maybe even 97, that first time he came up. So, we got the Los Angeles headquarters, and started having USA American Wing Chun organization, instructor headquarters run by Sifu Emin Mustepe, and I started going down 3 times a year for the weekend. And And then it was a phenomenal time. The Millennium event came in 2000, and anyway, in that period of time, I got my second black book, which we call On Single Combat. What do you mean? How dare I touch the two together? It's like yin and yang. It's the opposites, right? So this is like the greatest single little book ever written, right? Now that you know what they are, I'll get rid of that one, right? So On Single Combat, right? So On Single Combat, I got this in the late 90s. And let's see which one I have here. I got the 1987. I'm on the second English. 1997, second English edition here. So this came over with that guy in a box for his people down in the Bay Area, and I was down there for something because I was like getting any dose of WT I could. So I bought one of these books, and it caused a big scandal because he wasn't supposed to be selling them. So like this, has pictures in it. Like, look at that stuff. And you're like, okay, like I'm back to Ashida Kim with the pictures, right? But it has, my seafood doing stuff. And it's got clever illustrations. I don't know if you guys can even see any of this stuff. But we use this stuff, right? There I got signatures. I went and had autographs done. So I got an autograph here from the author in 2000, L.A., Seagung, the author, my Seagung from those days, right? He's still my Seagung, what? And then, here's an autograph. There's a guy with this really cool sword, Bill Newman. He was cool. He taught me one of the greatest Eskrima lessons ever. I got a bunch more signatures in here. I got Lung Ting and Sifu Evan. Anyway, this book, my other black book, On Single Combat. Man. Like Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. Talk about the two black books. So, 2000 kicks in. We were starting to have a lot of DVDs by then. So this phenomenon that y'all are experiencing, us instructors were already experiencing at the turn of the millennium. Sifu Emin bought his own camera. We started, farting around with stupid things, I learned stuff like watch out for no smoking signs, watch out for where all the duffel bags are, that stuff shows up in video, and then you're like, man, look at this thing with no smoking behind your head the whole time. So anyway, this book though has stood the test of time. It's some deep philosophy, right? This is like a tome of a real martial artist, and peak of research knowledge. We say 40 years old, I think, is supposed to be your peak as a warrior, according to one of them Japanese masters, right? Your health has gone down a little bit from your peak at 30 maybe, but your mind is way more powerful than any health that you lost. And if you work out, I'm 50. So anyway, that's this guy who wrote this book, right? This guy was a clever rascal in the 80s and turned a magazine article into a book he sold and made it. So, you got to respect that, even if his name is all as a Japanese first name and a Korean last name. That would never happen. I'm doing this mostly for free. So, like, one of the first ones was the Krav Maga forum. It was one of the first really good forums, Bully Busters, whatever that 4.5. And I was the California Kid or something. I didn't know who Uriah Faber was, right? So later it came out like, WT California Kid might be better, but still, people thought I was Uriah, so I had to drop that name. But that was the first forum. That was an awesome place to talk this stuff out. But this was all crap. There was nothing to watch on video. Like, you had to have something going on to upload a photo back then. And in Miami in 2006, another chunner, we went to a fighter camp, and another chunner was like, dude, you write good. And Sifu Emin at that point, I feel like there was other places I'd written. Like I'd done some articles in our newsletters, and we tried a forum that got hacked and hijacked a couple times and destroyed. So Sifu had said, I like the way you write, Jeff. you don't give away our stuff, and you know how to tell the other people where they're not our stuff. So I had permission to do it, right? And then later I had permission to do like videos, and I said, Sifu, I'm just going to try to do chain plunging and kick him in the balls, you know? And like, I'm not even going to do chub Q elbows if I can help it, right? And forget about using Bucci or anything else, or wouldn't that be? So I had permission to do that. So this other chutter, and he was just an amateur hobbyist, right? I don't even know his name. That's the only time I ever met him. It's at dinner. He told me to go to bullshido.net. He said, you got to go there and represent. So I did. I got first tech in 2005. And I made a promise, like, I'm going to just use this first tech stuff. I don't have anyone to train with here in California except Isaiah and my students that I had at the time that were youngsters, right? So I'm just going to use that stuff. German Latzau. I'm going to talk shit on Bullshido. And guess who we were destroying at the time? Ashida Kim. So I'm on there with this book. Like, I've never busted this book out in all of those years talking shit because I was like, oh my God, the joke's on me if that ever gets out. So I keep them together on the bookshelf. And you know, the joke is on me, and that's why I'm laughing. You guys are all crying and dying. So, Ashida Kim, we destroyed that guy's fraud on Bullshido. So, you know, they thought I was a fraud too, right? So we're on there, and then there was this Wikipedia battle, and Bullshido had editors that were up in Wikipedia on it, like designated. There was fundraising and stuff. I never got my patches. I wonder if they're still on Frost's desk. It was a fun time. And then when we finally had this article, everybody who had posted put it in their signature bar, and suddenly the link was all over wherever we were just talking shit or having fun. And then you just click on it every once in a while. Everyone had to click on it a couple times a day. And we watched it move from 44 to number 2 on the search engine in like 3 or 4 days. It was just like, boom, just by, because we had, if it was in your signature bar, the link suddenly went to hundreds of places, or I had like 8,000 posts at that point or something. So it went to 8,000 places. Very talked about then, isn't it? Suddenly. So that was cool. And that was this book that I started with as a 6th grader in the yard. And then I was like, kind of like, this is kind of goofy. Maybe it isn't real, but I'm going to do it anyway because karate's kind of goofy too with those outfits. And those wrestlers wear singlets and have ears like that. I'm not doing that. But we don't leave our training, and we don't leave the facts and science behind when we leave the politics. So now I got to defend my Sifu even with our own family. And then in this place, Bushido's destroying Ashida Kim, and I got the 2 black books, and I'm just laughing the whole time. So I had to go to these throwdowns and represent with German Latzau, and you know, I didn't like shine because I was only a first tech training with, you know, 10 or 20 people in my garage and going to events and flying a plane and train for a week or a weekend a couple times a year. Boom, that's what we do in WT. So, anyway, that's the story of these books, right? And keep that in mind. Y'all got video upon video now. And, you know, you've got this kind of guy, right? So I called this guy magazine in a book. So this stuff in here, you know, this is what was put in magazine articles. And it'd take a year for them to come out. And so you could take all of those and put them into a book and sell them to a lot more people. The same way they do videos. So, you know, we used to joke that you have a magazine Sifu or book Sifu, right? Sifu Unique. So your Sifu does videos now, right? So some of these video Sifus have these same books, you guys. They got this crap. They got magazines from 3 decades of Black Belt magazine. You can just go in there and find some 5 things and pump out a video. Which is awesome, right? Me in the yard. But don't think that shit is this level. Don't think it's the lifetime of a consummate martial artist who did everything, was the tip of the spear. Cops just went by. All right, let's see what we got here. So we have got On Single Combat, the greatest books ever written, 1997. And then this one, 1981, also one of the greatest books ever written. Total crap, but so what? Let's look at some of this stuff. Let me show you what I mean by crap. So you got these kanjis, these things to do with your hand. So in contrast, you got something wonderful like this in On Single Combat. You know, ready position, guy goes for a kick, so you catch it, you know, with the bongurk to the outside. And then you step in, right, with the chain punching a few times. You know, this book's full of gems like that. That's something I could use, right? And then it's got like my Sifu doing stuff. It's got like all this great philosophy. Let's find something else that's good in here. All right, so then, you know, one of the gems for you kids that are trying to learn stuff, when you're looking at a book that's written by a pro like this, you know, they don't put a picture like that in just, you know, because they put it in because that's a technique. Maybe you should use your engineering skill and go, what is that going on there? All right. And then, you know, this kind of photo to show off. That was very popular back then. You know, so we had put a picture like this or like this. So that's telling me a whole bunch of stuff, right? This is what we suffered through. You guys have a video. I made a video for you like that. Instructor as service provider. Like, this got some great stuff. All right, and then this is one of my favorite pages. So when I went to Italy, that museum wing was being restored, so I didn't get to see that one. But I could tell you all of the Wing Chun technology going on in there, right? I just showed you the head turn picture earlier, just now. And then look at this guy. We always see this one. There's that. That's a Yopgurk, actually. You know, and then look at the hands up there. And then they got the Greek vases. Everyone knows this stuff, right? Were they doing Wing Chun? No, they were doing what's best, what works for this geometry, right? It worked. Did that stuff with what I knew. That stuff doesn't work. Except for beginners to learn how to use their body. So I'm going to finish on that one. That's what martial arts is about. Learning how to use your body. Hands and fingers and voices and brains. I'm talking about using your full body to move around. Stand on one leg kind of stuff. So anyway, martial arts is that. And so as a beginner, you could imitate Mulan or some movie, right? Make up something from your favorite video game character. It's the same as trying to be a ninja in 1982. But know that it's fake, right? And then when you get to Wing Chun, and is it a nun and a little girl, and you're like, I'm just going to use that as a story the same way I use ninja as a story, right? Or Mulan or Captain America. I'm going to do the Captain America routine. This is a badass fucking martial art routine. Oh, right? And I put the costume on. And I don't know, I put the yellow jumpsuit on and be Bruce Lee. Packs out punch. Boom, right? You're not Captain America or Bruce Lee. But it's the costume. Do you ever wear a mask? How long does it last? Now for martial arts, it's deadly serious. That shit is real when it is. So you can't be playing around and hopscotching it and making shields out of cosplay fabrics. There's got to be something real. That's the part that's up to the tradition, the school, your teachers. You can't do that stuff. Not as a beginner. So this is where you cross over. And that's in Wing Chun, you know, when people start giving up on even the nun and the little girl. But remember, that's this fourth quadrant of the four ways to be doing this. One of them's really easy, right? And then there's these other two which we all exist in as martial arts. right? And then there's this other one over here, the not harumph. That's the women way to do it, right? That's me. I weigh 148 pounds. No, wait. I weigh 158 right now. Excuse me. But I was down to 148 last year. So I weigh 158 right now. I am in the woman's weight class, right? So I have to do martial arts like the nun, you know, fit old lady strength, right? I'm 50. So that's not just a myth. That's not Captain America, you guys. This shit's real. I'm weak. So anyway, that's what you got to deal with martial art. There's that real, if I really got to fight, and that real, how strong am I really? And then there's that fantasy, is like, I'm going to imitate that I'm Captain America, or I'm going to imitate that I'm Wonder Woman, or I'm going to imitate that I'm Aquaman if you're swimming, right? You know, whatever you're doing, that's for this visualization, transformation that you do. And so keep that in mind. Even if this is crap, fake books, don't get, so what? So what? We know what's real. All right, what's going on out in the yard? Man, it is so windy. I wanted to do some stuff today, but I am not going out there.